Okay, good morning everyone from me. I will talk about the technical space, which is the infrastructure that we are working and we are developing in the Europeana space project. And it's a platform that is meant to facilitate content sourcing for the members of the consortium, the pilots, the teams that are actually attempting to reuse creatively cultural heritage. And eventually, it will facilitate content sourcing events, hackathons around reusing of cultural heritage. The technical space is consists of a set of modules. It starts with a backend that is used to store, index, retrieve metadata and content. There is a front-end that helps you create and manage the collection of data that you store on the backend. There's a set of separate services that help mostly more specialized processing of metadata, either starting from getting metadata out of content providers and aligning them with established repositories such as Europeana, up to editing metadata or enriching them, adding more information. Finally, there's a set of APIs that help you access all that data that becomes available on the platform, and eventually the services that the platform uses to manipulate data or to show them, to visualize them. Finally, I will talk a bit about some of the social dimensions that the platform is starting to evolve in our intention to promote collaborative use and collaborative preparation for creative reuse. You can find the platform online. The link was here at the end of the slide. And you can register freely and try it out and test it. It's fairly simple and straightforward. In order to visualize what I said in my first slide, everything revolves around a storage layer where we store content and metadata. And according to different scenarios and different types of users, this storage layer is populated with content either from established aggregation streams, like projects that many of you have participated in, or by simply users uploading their own content and metadata. And through what we call the federated search, through a search facility that allows you to access content that is publicly available in different repositories, such as Europeana and the other continental aggregators, Digital Public Library of America, the aggregators of Australia and New Zealand. Two more specialized repositories, either repositories that are as generic as YouTube and Flickr, that where you can access specific collections of cultural heritage content, or repositories of what we call digital knowledge, such as DBpedia, that give you a lot more information around cultural heritage resources, and information that is structured in a machine understandable way. As I told you, you can process that content that you bring in the platform with several tools. And eventually the purpose of all this is to organize content, to create collections that make sense for a specific domain, and then give access to them through an interface, through an API, to developers, to people that are building applications and tools on top of such repositories in order to be able to consume them in an easy way, in order to develop a concept around creative reuse. So we'll talk about, in order to explain a bit more how the platform uses, I will expand on 5 workflows that we currently have in our project for the different type of participants. Starting from how you can create and manage a collection in the technical space, Then I will talk about publishing content and metadata, how we can bring collections and datasets inside the platform, how we can develop using the backend, and then how we can set up the more social aspects, using the more social aspects, how we can set up specific user groups, specific spaces inside the platform in order to support and prepare activities such as hackathons. So the first thing we start with is how to create and manage a collection by searching existing content. So we're not talking about bringing in your own content. We're talking about using what we call the federated search to search for a specific topic and browse the results, the available material that comes from all the different repositories that are integrated in the platform in order to select material that is suitable for the collection that you are trying to create. So if I search for a specific theme, the search is propagated to a set of repositories. In this specific example, we see Europeana, DPLA, Digital and Zend, and so on. Of course, you can also search in the collections that are already created on the platform. And using the filters, you can fine-tune the search. We take care of aggregating the filters of the different APIs to a common set of filters and facets that you can use. In order to fine-tune your search, filter according to content usage, according to the licensing of the material, maybe look for specific content providers or creators, specific time periods, and so on. The typical search filters that you would find in each one of the repositories in a common interface. So the search is propagated and the filtering to all the different external APIs, and you get a set of resulting items that you can visualize in different ways, either as we see here separately for each external source, or in a common way. You can browse the items, and eventually the items that interest you, you can collect them, put them in one of your collections, and then you can keep expanding on that. You can add more information, some description for the collection itself. And in that way, you can prepare a set of metadata items or a set of actual content together with metadata records that form a collection that for some reason you want to share with other people, or you want to provide to other people in order to develop on top of it. There are other ways of organizing your collections or visualizing them in a more detailed manner. One of the ones that we've been experimenting with are exhibitions, which are collections with some more information. There is an order in the items that you have, and you can also present it through a user interface, visualize it as that has a play out as a storytelling approach. You can add your comments in the different slides that you present, and make it something that a user can directly see, not only a developer consume. I will try. I was trying a live demo in parallel, but I had a problem with the speaker's Wi-Fi, so I will try a demo at the end. I will not try to interrupt it now to make it a bit more clear. So this is something that is addressed to all kinds of users, even normal users that don't have any relation to the project. They can go in, create collections, and play around with the tool. It's fairly simple, and it's a way to visualize all the material that is out there in the different repositories. For more addressing more content providers and people that actually have metadata datasets, either in a public repository or in a confined environment like an institution that does not have an online presence, we offer a set of tools that allow you to ingest that metadata, to align them to existing data sets, to existing data models such as the Europeana data model, to instruct you on how to map your data to those repositories and help you transform it, edit it if required in order to connect it to vocabularies, and eventually export it as a collection or publish it to Europeana. So in the framework of our pilots, we also have new content that is coming in order to be offered to the pilot applications or to the hackathons that are connected with the pilots. This new content is aligned as in a typical aggregation project, and is also published to Europeana. Just a screenshot of the mapping tool. I guess most of the content providers that have participated in some aggregation project will know the process of aligning their metadata to a data model. The set of tools that we offer in Europeana space, the metadata processing unit, gives you a visual interface and a simpler way to perform this alignment without having to know all the technicalities behind XML and the actual implementations of data models. So collections that are created by users and sourced by external APIs, data sets that are published from content providers can become collections in the platform. And the purpose eventually of the project and of the pilots is to offer these collections in an easy way to external developers, to the creative industries that do not really know the technicalities of getting content out of museums and libraries or how this content should be modeled. They just want a more easily digestible set of material. So just a set of collection, give me an API to access it, and I will see what kind of information you put there, and I will try to consume it in order to develop my concept. So the platform has a full API that helps access its data and its services. The actual front end that we have developed is developed on top of this API, so the API is really in use by the people that develop it, so it makes it easier to document it and to show it to other developers in order to access the content that is that populates the platform as we go on. The API is a typical REST API where you need an API key to access it, and there is a set of verbs, as they are called, through which you can access the backend of the platform. You can access the data, you can use the search facilities from your application. You don't instead of using the existing front end. And eventually we are trying to include more services to the API as they are included in the platform or as they are developed. So services such as the ones of that have to do with metadata processing. So eventually you will be able to access a group edit tool for metadata, a group edit service or an enrichment service, and services that come out from specific pilots and can be packaged through an API. So we are focusing on not only giving access to data to the developers and creative users, but also to services that they could use through their application. Of course, we try to document everything and help developers even when there is no physical presence there. Moving to a more social aspect of the platform, trying to both to organize content according to the different themes and the different usage scenarios that we have, but also to promote some collaborative creation of content. There is the ability on the platform to create specific user groups instead of going to the front page and seeing collections from random users that are testing, from developers that are testing, or even in the case of our project, we have 6 different pilots with 6 different teams. In order to organize this better, there is the ability to create customized views of the platform, both in terms of the front and the UI. So you can give a specific identity to a user group, but also for the group of users that have access and are able to add collections to these dedicated spaces. So ideally, you have a group of users that have maybe the common interests or belong to a same development group or a pilot around a specific theme, and you give them the ability to only see a part of the repository, the part that interests them, the collections that they have published. They can share them between them, they can join the common space, and they can collaboratively edit them. And then when going out to the public, to their dedicated hackathon, they present this subspace and give access to developers and creative users only to the parts of the data of the backend storage that interests this specific event. Of course, in such a way, you can even create something like a small community, not portal, but somewhere where you can actually present the results of your work, and you can present each user's contributions individually. So we're testing those groupings. We're testing them. We're actually testing the whole platform with the pilot projects that we have, and we are testing such ways of organizing content and presenting content in order to help the pilot teams prepare and support the hackathons. So the workflow that we are now using for the hackathon events is that we create a dedicated space for the event. The parts of the pilot teams that deal with content sourcing prepare collections. They add their own collections from the pilot content providers to the platform. They also search all the external repositories for material of interest for the specific theme. They can invite users, the participants of the hackathons, and they can set up. They can even set up specific access scenarios. You heard about yesterday, and I guess there will be a new discussion today of how we are thinking not only for the duration of the hackathon. We're not thinking of giving access to open content, but you can also give access to more protected content with specific access scenarios. So we can set up a space for the hackathon for the 2-3 days that it will take place, and we can have a specific terms of use for the content that you will find in this dedicated space. For example, you are able to experiment with the content for these 3 days of the event, but then in the end, the original license and copyright applies, and you will have to delete it and remove it. So in that way, we are trying to facilitate the whole hackathon process to remove any kind of barrier for the teams from the creative industries that come and just want to test and experiment and put their concept to use without needing to know how to source content and whose content is it and what do I have to do copyright-wise. So the pilot teams are enabled to do this preparation for those events, and let the people that participate in the events really be creative and not having to deal with the technicalities behind. And this is pretty much the workflows. These are the workflows that we are working on in the framework of Europeana space. We are, although the platform is in its first official release, we're still developing it. It's an ongoing development with interaction with several other activities and of course the pilots themselves. And we're improving the user interface. We are trying to move from items that is something that is common for cultural heritage. We know that everything is a metadata record about an item, but on the internet, on the web, it's not. Items are just resources like everything else. A person is also a resource. And even something as abstract as a concept is a resource. So eventually you will be able to create collections that will contain 5 items, a geographical place, 5 people, and a concept that is Renaissance painting, for example. And all this will be a collection that an external application will be able to consume. We are also testing some content analysis tools for the actual content in order to provide some more information that potentially an application could use, from simple things like detecting the colors of the dominant colors of images, up to trying to detect shapes like people or specific shapes of objects. Then we are working with annotations, which can be comments on a collection, comments on a specific item, or even corrections that some professional using the platform will want to submit regarding a specific item. All of those, of course, do not result in editing original data or editing anything. They are added in the form of annotations, comments on the on specific parts of metadata records with provenance information of who is suggesting what, and the ability to either turn them on or off depending on what you want to do. Access scenarios, I talked about the different scenarios for the hackathons and the APIs that we're trying to extend in order to include also services that could be of interest for developers to access when they put their concept into practice. This is pretty much the overview of the technical space. Of course, you can find a lot of information from all the representatives of the project. You can talk to the development team or myself personally, and we'll be glad to get your feedback. And first of all, the most important of all, go to the platform and use it, register. There is no problem with it. You can try it out, test it, create collections, and try to break it eventually. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasom. You will try to make... Yeah.
Let's see.
But I have one question before you are going deeper. How many surveys and researchers are involved to create this platform?
Well, I can't really say an exact number, but this is an idea that comes from the first steps that the whole Europeana network was taking towards creative reuse, and the Europeana creative project that addressed the same needs, and some results we have seen already, Europeana Labs. Of course, in the framework of the project, the pilots are really giving us most of the inputs regarding the needs of this whole community that is trying to promote creative reuse. We had some joint requirement workshops with Europeana, and also even aggregation projects in the Europeana family, like Athena Plus and EU Screen. They are creating their own pilots that try to take advantage of cultural heritage materials. So through the processes and the participations there, we also get feedback of how people actually try to reuse cultural heritage and what we can do to make their life easier.
And very short question also. Have you thought about any kind of business model?
Yeah, I don't know. If it proves that there's a usage and actually the products that are built using this platform as a backend have a business model of their own, then we will be watered as well. So you can use the platform to just get the content from the people that did all the sourcing and get the content that you like through the different licensing schemes that allow it, and then put it in your application and or on your own backend. But you can also use this backend as the backend of your application as well. So in that case, if there's a business model for the application, there is one for the backend as well.
Thank you. As an audiovisual archive, what support can you offer for audiovisual content? Is it going to be visually distinct from other types of resources?
Okay, so yeah, when you search for content, there is a distinction between if it's an image, a video, or a 3D. Currently, the content repository that we have only stores images and text files. There is the TV pilot, as you know, that accommodates all the requirements regarding video. We don't really try to guess what should happen there. We integrate sources that also provide audiovisual material. We even have YouTube as a source for people that host content online there. And for the time being, there is no server to play out or to restream it, so you go to the original repository. And I'm not sure where the future will take us, but currently we treat it just as another form of material. Yeah. Okay, so let's search for Tallinn. There is an auto-suggest service from YouTube and Europeana. Actually, Europeana is disabled now. We need to update the API. So you search for any kind of word like you would do in each of the individual repositories. And then you see, we cannot scroll horizontally here, but anyway, we can. Then you see a list of results per source. You can group them in a different way to view them better. Let's say that, we want to see images. Content usage, we want content that allows reuse. Images. So eventually you can fine-tune the search that you do. You can include sources or exclude sources, and eventually you will find something of interest. Come on. Let's say that is actually related to Tallinn. You can even find a game. Anyway, you can select a specific item. You can see the original item in the repository that it originates, and eventually when you like it, you can collect it, you need to sign in, you can add it to your collection, and this is the basic steps that you need to do just to create a collection. Each collection has its specific identity, and you even get the first set of simple API calls to access it. So it's fairly simple, as you can see. The idea is to help you find out what kind of content there is in the cultural heritage repositories and give you a nice way to see it in an aggregated way. And then offer these collections to people that can actually build something creative on top of them. And this is pretty much all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Naso.